class that you were in here at Eustis, and we'll just take it from there.
I'm rolling.
My name is Henry Spencer. I'm from the class of 12-67.
And how did you end up here at OCS at Eustis?
Well, I was drafted, and I ended up here because when I was drafted, I had a bit of an attitude problem because I tried to volunteer for the military in '64 when I got out of college because my wife was still an undergraduate. I wanted to get my military obligation out of the way and go on with our lives. Well, the Army wouldn't take me. 2 years later, after we'd planned our wedding and all of that, they drafted me. So when I was inducted and went on to the center at Fort Bragg. Anyhow, I had to be talked into going to OCS because all I wanted to do was 2 years, get out and get on with my life. But when they told me that I'd start getting E5 pay once I started OCS, I changed my mind. So that's why I started. But after I got there and had the experience, I don't regret any of it at all.
What would you say is your best memory of being here, if there was one?
Well, it was just an introduction to a different way of life. I grew up in rural North Carolina in a segregated community. And I got here and met a bunch of guys that I'd never interacted with. And I think that was my most rewarding experience, just learning to live and work together with people of a different race and see people just as people.
You know, there weren't a whole lot of African American officers, at least based on the graduation pictures. I mean, the percentage was not representative of what it was in the Army as far as enlisted. Did that present any challenges, or?
The challenge to me was that there was going to be one that graduated from that class because I was the only one there. But I mean, I didn't have any real challenges as far as interacting and getting along with people or that sort of thing. But yeah, there were differences I noticed, you know, because I was the only one here. But no, not particularly.
What did you do after you graduated?
I went to the Aberdeen Proving Ground in Aberdeen, Maryland, and I spent 2 months in the maintenance branch, which was a temporary assignment. From there, I went to work in the headquarters office as an assistant to 2 different colonels for the better part of a year. And after that, I was nominated or picked by my commanding officer to be the project transition officer for the Aberdeen Proving Ground. So I spent the last year of service testing and teaching courses for enlisted personnel who were returning to civilian life. And after that, I was honorably discharged and went back to civilian life. So I spent
You got your 2 years in? And
2 years, 10 months, 13 days, 2 hours, and 20 minutes. But I'm not counting. But it was a great experience.
what would you say the best lesson that this place taught you?
Best lesson? It was just a different point of view. I'd never been outside of Lowesville, North Carolina, which was about as big as this room, and until I got in the military. Well, I went to college, and you know, I experienced that 4 years, but still, that was in a segregated community. So when I got here, I saw a different world, and I was exposed to a different world, and so I think that was the best lesson. And beyond that, it taught me, because after I got into civilian life, in corporate America, I had to live with and work with all kinds of people. And this experience taught me, I think, quite amply how to deal with that. So,
Getting much of a lead from outside?
Hard to tell. Sorry,
Some,
I just can't.
yeah, some people just don't get the idea of it.
Well, sometimes it picks up, sometimes it doesn't. I hear it from outside of the headsets.
Okay.
Proceed.
Anything else you'd like to share, Russ?
no, I'm just proud to be here this day and anxious to get back together with guys that I knew some 50 or 100 years ago, it seems, and just see how much people have changed and not changed, and just reacquaint myself with them. So it's going to be a fun couple of days.
Just for fun, what did you end up, when you left the Army, what became your profession then?
I wanted to teach because that was what I was trained to do. But when I came out of the military, I interviewed for a teaching job with the public school system of the District of Columbia, and I was going to take it. But I saw an ad in the Washington Post for an insurance adjuster, and the ad said, well, first of all, more money, and you get a company car. So the rest is history. I ended up working in the insurance industry for 30 years and casualty lines with 3 different companies. I ended up working for the CNA insurance company. I was the vice president of one of their claims department. And I retired at 57 and just enjoyed life since then.
Was it a good car?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
All right.
That's fine.
Good.
Right.
Well, we're done.